Welcome back, y'all. It's me, and I'm here looking like a Led Zeppelin reject to finally get into some of the meat of this class. Seriously, what's going on with this? Why did I... Do any of y'all know how to cut hair? Because this is a disaster. But I also could just take care of it. All right, well, so for today, I'm just going to give y'all... This week, I mean. For this week, I'm going to show y'all a video that I did last semester. I think it's pretty good. I pretty much agree with everything in there. I don't think I'll need to pop in and update anything. Yeah, I will say I'm sorry for the sound. At this point, I was still using an old karaoke microphone jammed into a wine bottle, so the quality's not that great. But yeah, take it away, version of me that's much better put together. For today's lesson, I want to start off with exploring a question about where do rights actually come from. And so, to try to dig into that idea a little deeper, I want to talk about two concepts. Oops, sorry, I just bumped my microphone. Natural law and positive law. So, natural law is the idea that laws are from something beyond humans, beyond the laws of man. Now, whether that's the law of God or the law of nature or the law of the jungle, just something that's beyond us. It's not something we make up. It's something that's there that maybe we can discover. So they're there no matter what we say or do. And so like the law of gravity, sure, that's a natural law. It's part of the fundamental natural laws that make up the universe. But then things like thou shalt not kill, right? Like that feels pretty good. Like, yeah, that seems like a good natural real thing. You shouldn't kill other humans. But or maybe more intuitively, you shouldn't eat other humans. Here's one of the problems with that, though. Who gets to say what the natural law is? Who gets to deliver the word of God and interpret it? So it's pretty easy to make an argument about when you actually should kill people, like self-defense, or in a war, or when they were Crocs. No, I'm just kidding. That was stupid. That was a bad joke. But or what about that Uruguayan soccer team that like crashed in the Andes and they had to eat each other? There's a great film about this. I don't know if it's a true story. Let's call it yes. But the point is that, like, there's room for interpretation on these things, and how do we know that our understanding of it is real or correct or good? So, if I say I have a right to something like, oh, I don't know, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that's been endowed by my creator, so what? That's not going to stop some fascist police state goose-stepping boot from stomping me into the curb and seizing my property. And even if they get some punishment in the afterlife or something, that doesn't help my broke ass. So, on the flip side, positive law, then, is the idea that we just have to make it up. That's all there is. We write it down, and we all agree to follow the law. So, we make laws against murder and say when it's okay. We write down that you have a right to free speech, and all agree to follow it and enforce it. Again, we'll still have problems of interpretation, but that's what the Supreme Court is for, right? They're supposed to, interpret what's right based on, well, that's a good question. Based on what? And we'll talk about that. But we still have a problem of why? Like, for natural law, we don't have that why problem. It's just what it is. That's the way things are. But if we're going to make it up, why should you have a right to free speech? Like, well, why bother? Why free speech and not healthcare? What basis do we have philosophically to even declare something as a human right that cannot be violated? And then, how do we enforce it? Is it still based on some sense of, well, it just should be? Is it based on, well, we want these particular effects, or we want to look at these consequences? Well, and if that's the case, does that violate, or not violate, but does that go against the idea of what a right even means? I feel like a right should be something inviolable, unable to be violated. So, also, what's to keep it from changing? Like, the Constitution isn't the sacred word of the Almighty, and even the Bible's been through lots of revisions and translations. So, the fact that we're just talking about man-made law, and in fact, we're supposed to be able to change the Constitution. That's part of the whole point. That's why we have amendments. But in what ways is that good? And in what ways is that bad? What if some, I don't know, fascist maniac sweeps into power on the backs of the downtrodden, masquerading as a populist ideologue, but is actually supported through corruption and treason, and changes all the laws over a real rough 4 years, including the ones that would have let us remove him from power? On what right do we fight against that? I also want to ask, are these two ideas mutually exclusive? Are they completely at odds? Or can we find some kind of synthesis? Can they work together? Look at some of the laws you know of, and some of the rights you have, or think you have, or think you should have, through the lens of natural law versus positive law. Are some more easily justified with one or the other, or both? Or do some just not make sense under one or the other, or both? Which of these two ideas do you align yourself more with, either in the past, or might that change? So, I want you to start thinking about these questions. And I think I have an assignment about this very topic to help explore this idea a little bit more, and to honestly force you to ask those questions I just asked you to. So, does one of these make more sense than the other to you? Does one seem foolish? Can they work together? Can you find places where these are represented in our current laws, or especially the current state of our rights? And it's okay with me if you want to look at, rights in the US, but could be worth asking internationally. So, take a look at that. Or not take a look at, think about it. Take a look at the assignment I'm going to post. And I think that's it. What else? Yeah, let's talk about this. Yeah, that's all I've got. I'm also tired of making videos today. Girl, same. So, I hope that was enlightening. I guess I'm gonna have to dig up that assignment I was talking about. But look for that on Blackboard, and I'll send an email with more information. Talk to y'all later. Bye.